Hello and welcome to part 3 of the FreeCodeCamp JavaScript Calculator Challenge. This is what the project looks like thus far. All the components are being rendered onto the page, but they're a little bit ugly. So in this video, I'll be styling the app using sass. Let me just change this app components header to something relevant. Okay, that's good enough. So before I get started, a little disclaimer. I didn't want to make 2 separate videos on just styling. That's why this video is so long. There's a link to GitHub repo in the description below if you'd rather not suffer through this part. So moving on, the first thing I need to do is add sass to my project. I think the easiest way to do this is by going to create React app, packages, React scripts, template, and then readme, which will take you to this table of contents. And here you have a section for adding sass, less, and others. I'll be using sass, so I'm installing it with npm install. You can use yarn as well. I've actually already installed it. All you have to do is paste that piece of code into your iTerm or any other terminal you're using. I didn't want to do it on video because it takes a while. So then when it's installed, you can add those 2 lines into your package scripts. Yeah. Yeah, and you can just add it into the scripts. Okay, so next thing I'll be doing is creating separate sass files for each of the components. I just like to split those up into separate ones, so I have just styles for one part of the website, of the app. So I'll go back to my console and yeah, so I want one for the calculator, one for the button, and one for the screen. Okay, so as you can see, I have those here now. I will go to my iTerm and I will run one of the new commands I have, which will actually transpile the sass files into CSS. So there's another 3 new files here, which I actually want to go and import into my sass file. So let's start with calculator. So the idea behind this is that I only link the index.css file, which will import the other styles into here, and that's all I have to worry about. So before I get started, I want to check if it's working. So I'll calculator, and I want to change the background to tomato, let's say. Yep. So let's see if it works. It doesn't. Let's see if it's actually transpiled. Yeah, it is. So this is what the watch-css does. It takes my styles and it turns them into a CSS syntax. So it's not working. So it doesn't have the style. Oh, okay, I see. So the class is app, not calculator. So I'll go and change it. Now it should work. And it does. Okay, so everything's all right. So I'll be copying the OS X calculator. I'll start obviously with the calculator component. I have a picture of the calculator I want here. It has. I don't remember turning it off. I was sure I have it prepared. Anyhow. What's going on? Okay, so we have it here. So first I want to get the dimensions of this calculator. So I'll take, it's here. So it's 639. Let's say it's 640. We can delete this. So 640 pixels, and the width 468. Nice. Okay, so now I wanna make it so that the screen component and the buttons are like one on top of the other. So I'll be using Flexbox to do that, and for the entire layout actually. So there's a great free course on Flexbox if you don't know it that well. It's on flexbox.io. It's made by Wesboss and it's free. You have to just enter your email address and it will create an account for you and you're gonna have it. I really like his courses, so like I think you should check it out. You can also go to CSS Tricks and there's a complete guide to Flexbox. They go through all the possible properties and how to set it up and basically how to use it. So I think it's a really good place to even refer back to when you're just not so sure about some properties. Anyway, so first I want to create a Flexbox container, which because Flexbox is made out of a Flex container and a Flex item. Everything that's inside a Flex container is a Flex item, but that doesn't mean that the Flex items can't be a Flex container as well. So it doesn't exclude them from it. Another important thing about Flexbox is that it works with two axes, X and Y. By default, the main axis is X from left to right. That's how Flex items will align themselves, but you can change it with the Flex direction property. You can see the possible values here. So this is the default Flex direction row. So from left to right, then you have row reverse, column, and column reverse. So I want my screen and buttons to be aligned one on top of the other. So I'm gonna use column. Did I do something wrong? Let me see. No, it's good. Did I misspell it? No. That's weird. It doesn't do anything. Oh, because I didn't actually make it a Flex container yet. So that's my bad. Yeah, so now it should change. Yeah, okay, so now there's a screen and there's all the buttons components, one on top of the other. This is not actually what I wanted. That's because the buttons are direct children of the calculator, so they are all Flex items. So I want to wrap it up into a container. Okay, now it should be fine. Yeah, so that's much better. Now there's buttons and screen, one on top of the other, which is exactly how it was, but like, I don't know. I'd rather do it myself so it doesn't break. Now, the next thing I want to do is center the calculator. So I will do it with positioning it absolute, and then I will offset it from top by 50% and left by also 50%. Okay, as you can see, this isn't centered. It's because it centers the left upper corner. So we need to account for the dimensions of the calculator. So I'll set the margin top to negative 320 pixels, which is 50% of its height. And because it's negative, it will actually pull the calculator up. Yep. And now I want to do the same with the margin left. So it's gonna be 234, which is 50% of its width. Oh, yeah, negative. Yeah, and it's more or less centered. It has a bigger, more height than it looks, so that's why it doesn't look centered, but it actually is, more or less, I guess. So now I'm gonna move on to, I think, buttons. But first I'll change the background because the white color is really bugging me. So I've added a picture to my CSS file, and I can just set the background. So it's going to be a URL. Now I want to center it vertically and horizontally. I want it to cover the entire body, and so it's gonna kind of fit itself into it, and I don't want it to repeat. Oh my god, repeat. How do I spell it? Yeah, okay, so it should be good. Yeah, it's not. Okay, that's because body doesn't have a height, so let's change it. Oh, and there is no such thing as, okay, but it still shouldn't work. Yep, no, it does work, but on such a small sliver. So let's do the height of 100 VH. It should do the whole, yeah, it's good. So we have the background now, it's much nicer, I think. We can move on to the buttons. So now, not CSS, sass. So now I want to set the button container to be a flex container. I also want it to be the 100% width and height of the calculator, of the available space actually in the calculator. So I'll set it to be flex 1. So that will grow the component, grow the element as big as it can get. Now I wanna get the buttons to be 25% width of one line, and I want them to be just I guess 5 rows deep, if I remember correctly. Yeah. So I want to go into a button, and I want them all to be with 25%. Let's see if it works. So it didn't change much. The reason is that Flexbox by default is trying to fit everything in one line, and to change that we need to enable it to wrap the elements. Okay, this still doesn't work. Oh, because I did it in the wrong place. Yeah, now that's much better. As you can see, one of the buttons here, one of the rows here has a missing place, and if we look at the picture, it's because one of the buttons is supposed to be bigger. So I'll change the 17th button. So we can just go here. And we can change the width to 50%. Let's see if this works. It does not. So maybe I did it in the wrong place again. Oh, fuck's sake. I hate CSS so much. No, it still doesn't work. I don't know what's wrong. Ah, okay, it works. So everything's good now. The next part is doing those orange buttons on the right. So I'll just check the color. Oh, actually, let's just change the color of all buttons first. So let's set this. This is where I get my colors. So let's put it in a variable. Okay, and we can set all the buttons to be middle. Yep. Okay, that's good enough. Let's do the borders now. By default, the buttons have like rounded corners, so we wanna get rid of that. Yep, and we wanna set the border 1 pixel solid, and we can get this color from here. Just in case I need it, I'll put it in a variable. Oops. Okay, so yeah, that's good enough, I think. Now I'm gonna do the orange buttons here, but actually first let me increase the font size because it's tiny. So font size 28 pixels. Yeah, good enough. Okay, so now I'll do the orange buttons on the right hand side. Oh, okay, there's like this weird blue outline whenever I press the button. I don't want it, so I'll do outline none. Let's see if it changes. Yep, there is no blue outline now. That's good. So I don't know if I forgot about anything else. I'll just move on to the orange buttons. So the orange buttons are mostly the last one, so it's the fourth button in each row except for the last one. So to select those, I'll go and select the nth child, and I want to select every fourth one, and I will check the color of it. Jesus. The color is this one and with a white text. So let's call it right edge. Here you go. And we can set the background to the right edge and color to white. Okay, so let's see how it looks. Yeah, okay, so that's good, but the last row has only 3 buttons, so it kind of messes it up for us. But we can just use the last child selector. I think that's the right one. And set the background to right edge. Oops. Oh no, we actually don't have to do this. My bad. We can just add it to here. Jesus. I really don't like CSS. It's just so annoying. Yeah, I think, yeah, it's working. It's all good. Thank God. So Now if I go to the actual calculator, as you can see, well, actually there's actually the 3 buttons here that we need to do, but first let's do this. So every time I press a button, the orange one, they kind of darken both the text and the background. So let's do that now. So I'll do active, and we want to darken background. So now I can use the variable again, and I'll darken it by 20%, and I want to do the same for all the buttons actually. I can't use it just once because you need to actually put in the color that you want to darken, so I need to do a separate one for each color. But now if I go here, it darkens the color. Yeah, I just need to add the font color as well. Yeah, it's all good. Looks good enough to me at least. So now let's do the top row. We need to select the first 3 children of the button container. So again, this is going to be the nth child selector, and the, I don't know, the equation inside or whatever it is minus n plus 3 if I remember correctly, and the background is gonna be something interesting, I'm sure. As with all CSS, it's just so interesting. So it's d6, d6, d6. Okay. And we can darken it straight away because it's also neat, because it's all the same. Damn it. Here we go. Yeah, it's a little bit darker. It definitely gets darker when I press it, so it's good enough to me. So I think the buttons are pretty much done. Now I can finally move on to the screen component, which means that I'm a little bit closer to finishing this. So then I go into here, and first I need to check the height of it, because as you can see, it kind of changes as I start putting in the numbers. So I'll go here and I'll just check what's the height. Just want to have the same proportions as here. So it's 160 pixels. So we can do screen. Let's see if it works. Yeah, it's good enough for me. So now I want to, well, I need to have some kind of a background. I don't want this gray background. And if I open it up here, you can see that it's kind of a, they blur out the background of that's behind the calculator, but it's kind of see-through. So I want to do the same. I won't be able to blur it out, but I'll definitely be able to make it see-through. So let's just use the RGBA, and I want it to be 0.5. Yep, I just need the lighter font now. So let's do color white. Let's increase the font size as well. I don't know how much. Let's try 30 pixels. Yeah, 30 pixels. No, let's try 40. No, because like when that's gonna be too much. So let's 35. Yeah, that's good enough for me. So yeah, now let's fill up the calculator with numbers. Oh, actually, let's also yeah, do it from the right side. That's much better. So yeah, I think no, let's Jesus. Okay, so let's do 9, 20. Okay, 23. So I want to increase the padding on both sides, so this one isn't like right up against the edge of the calculator. So let's do padding. Let's do 0 on top and bottom, and let's do 5 on left and right. We can do more. Let's do 6. Jesus, 7. This is why I don't like CSS, because it's just like so annoying. Yeah, okay, let's end it like this. So now I think this is it. Like, I think the screen component is done. This is done. So all that's left is the shadow of the calculator. Let me, because if you take a look here, let's actually bring it back up. So it has this shadow around, and it actually has rounded corners. So let's go back to the calculator and do the shadow first. So the shadow takes in 5 values. First is X and Y, then it's blur, spread, and the color. So I think the X and Y is obvious. You determine the oh my god, what's it called? The direction where the color is supposed to go. Radius is it spread? Oh my god, the blur is just gonna blur out the color, but we're gonna get to that. So first I want to set up the shadow. So this is gonna be on the right and bottom shadow. If it's gonna be negative, it's gonna be left and top. So let's see. So as you can see, why does the calculator have the text inside it? I did not want that like this. We'd have to do it like this. Right. Is that good enough? Yeah, I guess. Yeah, so as you can see, the shadow color is just as well defined as any other. So that's where the blur radius comes in. We can just do it. Let's do 10 pixels at first and see what that does. So it kind of blurs it out a little bit, but it's still very well defined. So I'll change it to a much bigger number, like 60. So as you can see now, it's so blurry that it kind of fades out into nothing. So I really like this effect. I'm gonna do the same for the other side. So I want it to be minus 10 pixels, 10 pixels, 60, 0, and the same color. Yep. It looks actually kind of good already. Yeah, this one is a little bit, I think a bit bigger than this one. I don't know, maybe I should increase the radius. But then it goes kind of to the top. So maybe if we do, I don't know. I'm just guessing now. Yeah, it kind of looks better. I don't know. Maybe a little bit darker. Yeah, I think it looks good enough. It is a little bit dark though, so maybe like let's do like 10. Jesus. So let's do 10 here, and let's do 10 here. Yeah, it doesn't change much. So yeah, I'm not in the mood to play with CSS now, so let's just leave it like this. Now I wanna round the corners of the calculator, so I'll go back to, oh, I'm actually here. So let's see what happens if I round it here. So what border radius, and let's do it 6 pixels. So as you can see, nothing changes, but if I actually zoom in, I don't know if you can see it, but there's actually a rounded corner here, but there's a screen component on top of it that's not rounded. So I'm gonna go to screen component, and I want to round the top right and left corners. So border radius, I'll do top left 6 pixels, top right 6 pixels, and then 2 zeros. Yep, that's good. Now I wanna change the radius of the 0 button, which I should have selected because I was changing the width. Yep. So here, border radius. So the first are 0, I think then there's 6, and then there's 0 again. I don't know. Nope. Yep, that's much better. And the last one. So I'll have to add another selector here. Oh. Last child. I think that, yeah. So here border radius is 0, 0, 6 pixels, 0. Yeah, so it looks great, I guess. Now the last thing is the header, because it's kind of, you know, it doesn't look very nice. So I'll go back to the calculator and let's see what we can do about that. No. So now I wanna Jesus, let me answer the phone first. Sorry about that. So now I want to change the color to white so it's more visible. I have imported 2 fonts for the calculator and the header. So I want to change the family here to, I think, rock salt it was. Yep. Okay, I think it looks nice. It kind of looks like somebody handwritten it on the board. So now I wanna center it on the website, so on the page. So I'll do text align center. Yep, it's good enough. Actually it looks really good, but I think, yeah, so because there's margin on the header, it kind of makes the side scroll even though it's not necessary. So I'll remove the margins. Yeah, and now it's actually too high, I think. So I'll 25 pixels. No, okay, so I don't know about you, but when I was in school, anyone that was writing on the board actually kind of didn't do it as straight as this is, and it was never as clear as this. So I want to blur it a little bit. Oh, Jesus. So I'll do filter, blur, and do like 1 pixel. but I think that's gonna be too much. Yeah, it's kind of annoying. Let's do quarter. Can't see nothing. Yeah, I think that's good enough. I also want to skew it, so I'll add it here. I want to do, let's say 5 degrees, 5 degrees. I don't think this is necessary then. Oh yeah, okay, no, that doesn't work. Oh, I don't remember which one. Yeah, that's good, but I actually want it skewed the other direction. Yeah, I guess it's fine. It looks good enough to me. So I think that's it. I don't think there's anything missing. Oh, I'm gonna change the font of the screen because there's, as I said, I downloaded two. So there's Source Sans Pro for the screen component. I think it looks really nice. So yeah, now I can just push it to GitHub and I'm done with CSS finally. I was really dreading this part. I don't like CSS libraries and I don't like using CSS, so I guess I'll have to deal with it. Anyway, let's get yeah, and git commit. Okay, so we can do git push origin master. Okay, so that's finally it. The styles are done. In the next video, I'll start coding some of the functionality. It might split into another 2 videos, depends on how long it'll take me, because I would not want to make another video as long as this one. I do not edit them, so I have to just do it in one go, and it's really hard. I'm sure I made a bunch of mistakes in this one, but I just didn't have the patience to re-record it again. So anyway, I hope you found this useful and I'll see you in the next video.